Yeah, welcome into the blockchain basement. Boy, howdy. When will we start winning? That's the tagline of the century right now. I'm winning right now, folks. I'm seeing amazing entry points on the Bitcoin graph in terms of my trading signals I'm taking. We're going to talk about those. Some interesting things being built up at Say and some entry points on SWE I'm looking at, as well as a ton of bullish news for Solana coming out, Avalanche, Chainlink, all of the goodness on today's blockchain basement. Mr. Isaac, on
Yes,
the sticks.
sir. Always. How you doing, Drew?
Doing excellent, man.
Good,
It's a
good.
beautiful day. It's a
It is.
Friday.
It's a Friday. Busy
Kids are
Friday.
smiling. Grandma's in town, taking them out and around. She's going to like the arcade, the bowling. Like there's like this kid bowling alley. She's just going ham with it. Biscuit belly, absolutely delicious. So, shout out to everyone in the chat. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. What do we got? Kyle Watson here, Crypto Glassworks, Rusty Bot, the Deadwood, Sin City Crypto. What's up, boys?
What's up, homie?
I was on their show yesterday. I love going on their show.
Yeah.
Very good show. Shout out to you guys, Veteran Crypto. Also I think I said Rusty Bot, but we're gonna have a guest, a very special guest from a key community coming on here today. I'll keep you posted for that later on in the show. And also, as you can see, we have a great partner who's going to be joining us later on in the show today. Bitcoin IRA, this way, right there. Bitcoin IRA. We got a link down in the description. Roth IRAs, incredible advantage when it comes to Bitcoin. You can essentially leverage the tax advantages of an IRA to maximize your retirement growth. It all comes, if you're eligible for a Roth IRA, which is the king of IRAs, you won't owe any taxes ever. That's right. You can trade 75 cryptos completely tax-free within them. So I'm excited to talk to him about crypto and Bitcoin. What you got, Isaac?
No, that's just bullish. 75 plus cryptos tax-free.
It's not just Bitcoin. Not just Bitcoin. But you know me. I'm a seasonal Bitcoin maxi. Let's check it out here. First and foremost, let's check out, we got at Druth Crypto on the Twitter, over 7,000 subs.
There you go.
That's pretty cool. And I've only had this account open for like 2 years too. So shout out to all you beautiful people. Just here's where you can catch all my crazy tweets and all that wild stuff going on there. All kinds of things happening in the world of crypto. And also, shout out to everyone that's subscribed to the channel. We're at 76,481 subscribers, 1.4 million total views this month.
Bullish.
Not too bad. You know what I mean? Not too bad. So shout out to everyone for supporting the channel here. Bitcoin dominance, first and foremost. Let's check it out here. Looking pretty strong. Pretty scary, right? 71.9%. And it's, right as Ethereum was about to break and start moving past $2,000, some damn hacker had to come in and piss in our Cheerios. We're going to take a look at that story. Absolutely crazy, man.
Never have nice things, man.
What's that?
We can never have nice things.
No,
we know
yes,
this.
we can. Don't say it.
Then talk
you know
about
what?
there,
Your
man.
vibe is your tribe, bro. Like I am a nice thing. That should be the vibe. You watching at home, you are worth it.
You guys are nice things.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah, I'm trying to teach you I'm telling you, Isaac, your ego and your positivity, it can ferment into real life things happening.
True.
Right? If your mindset's negative and you're bitching all the time, you're going to get bullshit all the time. It's just how it works. Let's check out the charts though. So on the 15-minute here, let's go over to this. Bitcoin sitting at 83.8. I did put a little trade signal into the Druth 2-bit trades on Discord. As I promised yesterday, I've been extremely active in the Discord. We'll see how that goes. Maybe people will come tar and feather me in there or not. I was gone for like a few weeks, It was busy. Here's what happened. They had me talking on Telegram, Discord, all these other different communication systems. Thank God TJ has consolidated all the conversation from Discover, BitLab, and the blockchain basement back into Discord. So I only have to go to one place to talk, and it's very, very helpful there. I'll keep an eye out on the chat here. Let me see what's going on the big screen, the big telly. You know what's kind of weird? These glasses, they don't block the computer vision, but they block that one specific giant TV that's for the chat. Very odd. Oh, well. Very odd. We got a lot of news to get into today, though. So let's get into it here. We have this chaos from Michael Saylor. Let's have a listen to what this madman is saying.
Capital are flowing into the network. It's going to go from 2 billion to 20 billion to 200 billion to 2 trillion to 20 trillion to 200 trillion. And when it gets to 200 trillion, it'll chop along at plus 20% to eventually 300, 400, 500 trillion dollars. And where is that capital going to come from? It's going to come from Russian real estate. It's going to come from Chinese private equity. It's going to come from everything in Africa, everything in South America. You have capital flowing from foreign financial and physical assets to Bitcoin. You have capital flowing from 20th century assets to Bitcoin. To the capital is going to flow from the 20th century to the 21st century. It's going to flow from physical to digital. It's going to flow from currency-based derivatives to a digital commodity derivative. So it's already happening. It's unstoppable. It's literally like, for me to say Bitcoin's going to demonetize gold understates it. Yeah, it's going to demonetize gold. Then it's going to demonetize the real estate that's 10x more than gold. Then it's going to demonetize every long-term store of value. So what you have is a situation like the Europeans show up and they give like some Dutch guilders or some pieces of paper or some glass beads or seashells or stone coins to people using a more primitive form of money. And we have the opportunity to, in essence, just grab 10, 20, 25% of the network, let the entire dynamic flow, and it's going to accelerate. And when the dust settles, the American people will own 25, 30% of that capital, which right now is sitting in 20th century.
See, this is the power of too much positive thinking.
Yeah.
I think. He's calling for, I think he's alluding to, what, a $500 trillion market cap?
Which is around $23 million Bitcoin per token.
500 trillion? I mean, I could see that 50, 60 years from now.
When we're rotting the
I don't know.
casket.
Maybe I'm short selling it though. Because look, what's happening is the cost of a home per Bitcoin is on a pretty exponential path where, like,
True.
2010 it took you thousands of Bitcoin, or 2011, and now it only takes a few Bitcoin to buy a home. Real estate is a pretty, uh, clear path on how you value things. Like, how much salt does it take to get a house? How much dollars does it take to get a house? How many bullets does it take to get a house? Like,
Yeah.
you can think in terms of that. It's a very interesting dynamic to put your mindset in. Saylor, psycho, very positive, probably going to end up being giga rich. Oh, we got to give a shout out and a prayer real quick for Nicole Ministator. Remember, for 17 months, her dad, Scott, he's getting fluid to his heart and he's in the hospital. Prayers for your father there. I hate heart problems. My brother died of a heart transplant. He had 2 heart transplants, my brother. One heart transplant right when he was born, and then the second heart transplant at 7 years old. He's actually the youngest kid in Colorado. He set like the record for the youngest heart transplant. My brother ended up, he kept growing. He was like, when he died, he was like 6'10" as like a 17-year-old.
Jeez.
He was like 200 some odd pounds, just an absolute Goliath. So, absolutely praying for your father there. Blockchain basement. It's possible in 15 to 20 years, all monetary premiums that are other assets aren't good a store of value, and then migrate to value to better. I mean, it might not be that crazy of a concept, right?
Yeah.
What was that you just clicked?
The same one you were reading.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That, I mean, finally, if it hits $500 trillion market cap, Mr. Mark can afford a $200 stake.
Yeah.
So there you go. Let's keep moving through the stories here, though. We got this. GameStop hit reset with Bitcoin bet, but investors aren't all in. I gave some deeper insight on really what's going on in the Discord because I'm active there. Shout out last night.
Yeah.
But this is short seller manipulation. Lots of manipulation to short GameStop has been spiking up. And this is Wall Street throwing some shade on GameStop because they don't want them to succeed with this Bitcoin reserve bet. Really don't think they don't want this to succeed. Wall Street, traditional Wall Street, that's being said. So I'm rooting for GameStop. I hope they pull it off. But they're they're jumping into the deep end of the pool with the big nasty whales with sharp teeth that are going to go after them. So, and in this Bitcoin kind of rally, let's go back to the charts here. So this is Bitcoin's price right now. And if I'm not taking a swing at this chart, I'm dying, because look at that little shelf.
Jeez.
This previous shelf right here, I'd be a fool not to take this. And then momentum wave to the downside again. It might go deep, it might go all the way down to this negative 84, but I like putting the trades in when we get deep momentum waves to the downside. In general, I am of the opinion that we just got this internal trigger wave, and now I'm thinking that the money flow is going to start curling back up to the upside. That's me personally on Bitcoin, hence why I gave a pretty clear signal in the Two-Bit and BTCC Trades channel on our Discord. Thank you very much for linking that as well, Alexandra G. Appreciate you very much. So let's keep moving through all of these stories. We got a lot of stuff to cover here today. Holy God. So now this. Whales have been accumulating more than 129,000 Bitcoin, equivalent to $11 billion in just the past 2 weeks. Okay, and we compare this to the price action where all these retail plebs are selling off their Bitcoin to these whale wallets. What's happening is that Bitcoin is being transferred from the people that are scared, down and out. They don't have the capital, like that. The markets can remain solvent longer than you can remain solvent kind of conversation. This is the markets washing all of retail out and then taking the Bitcoin right out of their hands, moving it into their long-term storage. And where the liquidity sits right now, another confluence point for my trade feelings that I had, and I still have, is that there is hundreds of millions of dollars to liquidate on a rise of Bitcoin's price to $86,000.
Yeah.
It's not too far away. There is a little bit here, like they can grab about 57 mil if it goes down to 83.5. Sure, it's not too far away, but I keep seeing this liquidity line flash on and off through the morning here. So more so, my eyes are transfixed on this level. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in liquidations to happen should that price rise up to those levels. Hence why I feel good about trades this morning. It feels nice to finally have the market kind of wash out, find that shelf once again, and feel like trading once again, because I do love trading.
Yeah.
Absolutely love trading.
100%.
Now, here is Benjamin Cowan highlighting Bitcoin monthly returns. March was a 1.58% measly return. Sad.
Depressing.
This is a very different dynamic than the 2021 March timeframe where you had an 18% increase. And really, seeing us kind of print a different pattern here. The structure of the Bitcoin market, the Bitcoin bull market, is really, changing dynamically. March is not over yet either. Dylan K is bringing up something good. Looking like March will end up red. I mean, you know what? The 2021 ended up red. Honestly, the more pain for Bitcoin, the better I feel about having access to buying more. While everyone's sitting here laughing and calling me an idiot, same shit that happened during the pandemic.
Yeah.
They all say, oh, the world's going to end and the recession and the tariffs and all these scary things that's going to come crashing down on you. Sure, Jan. I just keep stacking Bitcoin. Keep winning cycle over cycle. It's just the way of why you say cover your butt? I don't even want to go into it.
Yeah.
You can go to my X account. Follow that stuff. You know what I mean?
It's pretty interesting.
God, I need a drink. Hold on.
Cover your butt. If you know, you know.
Michael Moore, it's been so fun DCAing for a few years. If you got in just started, it's been pain. You're not going to be able to feel good until that insane few month pump comes to altcoins. If you're heavy in altcoins, god damn, Chad is just, let's get it out.
You are banned.
Much better. Don't drop the soap. Good call there, guys. Now, BlackRock been smoking their own product here. BlackRock Global Allocation Fund discloses $47.4 million in Bitcoin ETF holdings. It looks like BlackRock's smoking a lot of their own product at this point. And it's just on the low key for anyone that's new to the channel. I have some insight. Larry Fink, even when he was talking badly about Bitcoin, he's been bullish on Bitcoin, Solana, and even other projects since 2021. 2021.
Yeah.
Jobless free wants to see me fight. Who do we hit? Because George won't let me into the big one. I want the big one.
No, everyone wants the big one.
I want.
But you deserve the big one.
I should get the big one.
Yeah.
George? I thought we were all George.
We're all George.
Apparently, I'm not George. Apparently. Try to be George. Sat down, talked to him. I'm nice. I'm a nice guy.
He'll probably let you in now.
Oh, I mean, maybe. We should try again. I'll probably run into him again in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I ran into him last time at the Bitcoin conference.
He's going to be there, so.
I need to have that conversation with him.
Yeah.
I need to have that conversation with him.
Hit him up.
Isaac, can you text Kelly as well?
I can text Kelly.
Please do that
To
while
help him.
I speak. Pull up my screen here. I'll roll through all this while you do that. So, God. The whole George thing. Let me in. Let me in.
Let the locks off the door.
George of the jungle. Fight Frankie. Bro.
Why do we fight him?
No, I need to find like a maxi of a coin that I despise.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Maybe like the Chainlink Psycho versus maybe the Chainlink Psycho versus some leader of a coin that I despise. Right?
I am.
Let's let the chat decide that. CoinChick would fight me, but it's not allowed because Harris lost. That's facts.
Very
CoinChick.
true.
That is facts. All right. Now, let's go into these other stories. What do we got here? Euphoria. What does the top look like? This is what the top looks like. This is what Euphoria looks like. Bishara, not that minuscule run we had post-elections. This is what Euphoria is. This is Franklin in 2022. I got $1.6 million and an offer for his profile picture this morning that he did not accept. This is what Euphoria looks like. Okay. It's not this pump for ants that we saw. It's not all this, little mini pumps and mini runs. And now everyone's like keeping their head low because of tariffs. No, that's not the top. There's some great confluence to why this is not the top. I showed you the Pi cycle indicator yesterday. 0 of 30 top signals have been hit, and you're selling it all right now. Really? This is from Follis. Not going to make it. Here's a list of bull market peak indicators. Jobless. Does he still have a crew? I don't think
he doesn't have a crew. We know this.
He doesn't have a crew. You know what? He'll probably get out and be like, he's like the hardest shit in the world. And then
I
he'll
would
be like,
go
I'm
fucking
ready.
prison, guys. I'm gonna fight everybody.
And he'll feel like he's ready. Yeah. I want him to feel ready. I want you to feel ready. Now, Bitcoin AHR 999 index, hit or not? No. High cycle top indicator has not been hit. The Puel multiple has not been hit. Rainbow chart, the days of ETF net outflows, also now an indicator has not been hit. ETF to Bitcoin ratio has not. 2-year moving average multiplier, MRV, Z zone, the Bitcoin bubble index, the USDT flexible savings, the RSI on the 22-day. None of these things have been registering as a top is in. So if you're sitting here feeling beat down about where the markets are at this time, and you've spent years stacking, doing research, and now just because the market structure generally has shifted to a little bit of a different degree, but you have regulatory clarity, you have a Bitcoin reserve being laid out for the United States, and all, like, essentially 25 out of the 50 states are going after this Bitcoin reserve.
Yeah.
That is going to burn so bad in 10 years if you give up on yourself now. Like, holy God, please do not give up on yourself now. This is not the time to give up. Seen a lot of capitulation on X over the past few weeks, and it makes me sad. It makes me sad internally to think about that happening. So, just think about that when, you're thinking about the market changing. Is this the end? Come on in here, Chris. You're good to go.
That's the boss.
Oh,
man.
is that Tim?
Yeah, that's Tim.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, see if you can find him. Okay, cool. That is the thing. It's like, if this was easy, then you wouldn't win big when it actually turns around, right? If it's just an easy gimme, there's no huge upside to that.
Yeah, no way.
So think about that. Think about your future generations. Think about the children. As Dylan K would say. Absolutely. Completely agree with that. Man, you identify as an AA listener?
Lister. I don't know what that means, but
Lister?
huh,
Are you
That's
going to list
funny.
a coin?
no,
Trump listed a coin.
I'm not Trump. I'm not listening to coin.
Maybe like baby
mean,
mama coin.
Nah, I'm
Need
good.
money for diapers.
I need money for my baby shower that's coming up.
Also, where the hell's Meanless? He never came by yesterday.
No, because he didn't want to text me. He didn't want to hit me up
Unbelievable.
and say, well, I'm coming in. Gonna give him any of the info. So that's on him.
Well, and so now we are unburdened by what has been, which was Kamala Harris. We're unburdened by Gary Gensler. Gary's still being drugged, though, in the Senate. This is Senator Bernie Moreno talking about Gary Gensler. Let's have a listen.
I'll start with you, Mr. Atkins. Man, you just have to be able to breathe and not be a complete raging lunatic, and you're going to be the greatest SEC commissioner compared to the last guy. I mean, congratulations on coming after Gary Gensler, who objectively probably was one of the stupidest people in government. I'll start with you, Mr. Atkins.
So he's talking about Paul Atkins has a pretty easy layup. Paul Atkins comes from Securitize, but he was also previously an SEC chair. This is the regulatory clarity coming that I don't think people quite understand. It's Securitize being cooked into Ondo building rails with Chainlink and XRP, and we essentially get a menu being listed of everything that's going to be focused on and highlighted by this current administration through World Liberty Fi. This is the easiest layup I've ever seen, and the best amount of time to accumulate that we could have hoped for. If we're planning to sell now, you know what? They want an arm curl. I just did some arm curls.
We literally worked
curled
out
in the
right before this.
rack.
Yeah, with
That was
the
fun.
bar and just threw weight on it.
Yeah,
That's fun.
curling in the rack. There was no one at there. I mean, they moved everything around. So what we're talking about is the easiest layup in crypto right now. We get a menu from World Liberty Fi on there with this. It includes Athena. Like I was talking, people were talking about crypto in the Discord last night.
Yeah.
I was highlighting, I need portfolio build outs of Athena and Sui at these prices.
Mhm.
So I'm going to be looking at those as well. American made crypto products that are going to be highlighted, right? Those are the things that I'm looking at right now. It's an easy layup. I can't believe that we have this time frame available to us. It's kind of crazy. There's a lot of things going on in the world that are understandable. Why people are a little bit short-term scared. We have Trump warning U.S. automakers not to raise prices in response to the tariffs. This is, in general, potential short-term pain for the price to go upwards. Because guess what we got to do? Now that we see all these tariffs and all this strong arming from Donald Trump, a lot of these companies are going to move plants to the United States. Takes a little bit of time to get those started up. I look bug-eyed.
That's probably the pre-workout and caffeine running through his veins.
You know, I did just take pre-workout.
Again?
Well, not again.
Oh, I was about to say.
Jesus.
Jeez.
I got to stay alive.
We know that.
No, I did just have pre-workout though. That bucked up, that's some strong stuff. You know what I mean? Who needs drugs when you got bucked up?
Exactly.
Right?
So you can get bucked up on caffeine.
That's right. Auto tariff update from BMW, though. Price increases will go live effective May 1st, 2025. Updated MSRP breakdown. It's only an increase of about $1,000 to $2,500 per car up to the M2, which is kind of interesting to see. So really not really affecting BMW, which is a German manufacturer, by the way.
Yeah.
I do see this incentive pushing a lot of car manufacturers, even across the world, into essentially having to put production and manufacturing facilities here in the U.S. Do you want jobs to continue being outsourced to China for the, rest of humanity? Or do you want to bring work back to the United States? You know what I mean? I got Chris going to sit down and hang out with us here. Chris from Bitcoin IRA. just got off of Kelly's stream. Thank you for joining me, good sir. You got
We're in the basement.
We're in the basement here. I'll get this closer to you. And later on in the show, we're gonna have a fella from Billy Goat Tales. He actually does kids books about Bitcoin on the show.
Very cool.
Yeah. So when he comes up, you can use that earbud. We don't need to use it for now. But Chris, thank you for joining me on the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me today, man. This is great.
Yeah.
I love the basement. This is so cool.
It's my little humble abode. You know what I mean? It's my little humble abode. I like it. I was talking and gave just a quick introduction to what Bitcoin IRA really is. Let's pull up your website here. It's bitcoinira.com.
Yep.
And this is something I know for a fact I am signing up for. My wife, a genius, has been yelling at me to do this for quite some time. Right.
That's good.
Yeah,
Good.
she's a very smart investor. So it's kind of a blessing to see, and meet you and to talk about this. I'm literally going to talk to you about this as an incoming client because me personally, I feel there is so much upside in the long term for Bitcoin over the next 10 to 20 years. Like we have so many things good going on. We have these reserves being talked about at a state level, first and foremost, like up to 10% of state GDP being put, or state reserve money, treasuries being put into Bitcoin. Eventually, I feel like the US is going to do this, and it's going to create this black hole of liquidity where if America does it, and then let's say China tries to say, no, we're sticking to this CBDC thing and our own thing, I'm going to see capital flight out of the treasury bonds into America. I see Bitcoin bonds coming to America.
I definitely see that. That makes sense.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think we're on a train. We're on a train. Many of us have been on this train for a few years. We're on a train now where we are driven by a scarcity, driven by a store of value,
Mhm.
and we can't be stopped. This is the third administration that Bitcoin is existing in,
Right.
and we've been through a lot. We've been through anti-crypto, and now we've got a pro-crypto, and we've got regulatory guidance and clarity that's coming.
Right.
And the time to shine is now. It's a very, very exciting time, and yeah, Bitcoin bonds make complete sense
Right.
as we continue to grow because we are going to get in that liquidity crunch at some point. That's the beauty, is you can't just print this, turn on the printers and make more of this. There's probably, in the time that I've been with Discover and with Kelly and now with you, who knows how much money the Federal Reserve has printed at that time period.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's the also part, is it's unknown, and it just keeps seeping into our daily lives with the inflation costs. They want
Mhm.
to talk about the executive administration affecting inflation. No, it's the policies we started back in 1970. If you ever done a study before, look at charts from 1970 on. This is when Nixon took us off the gold standard,
Yes.
the Nixon shock.
Yes.
I went to the Presidential Museum for Nixon in California because I'm weird. It was Father's Day and it was open, and I love museums. I'm a natural history guy, and so I went to it. And first thing I asked the lady, I said, "Hey, where's the gold shock? Where's the Nixon shock stuff?" She goes, "What are you?
Are you kidding me?
They don't have anything about it in there. There's nothing." And this is one of the biggest presidential museums that's out there,
Right.
and there's nothing
That's
about
one of the
Nixon
biggest
shock.
monetary
Changes.
transitions.
Yes, changes and it affected
ever.
everything. You can look at it's not just price of things. There's this site, I think it's called nixonshot.com or .org,
Mhm.
and they've got hundreds of charts that show you that date in 1970 and what's happened since. And the rooster, I'm a country boy from Colorado. The rooster comes
You're
home
from
to roost.
Colorado too?
Yeah, I'm born and raised.
I came here from Colorado.
Awesome. Yeah, Aurora, right?
Well, I came from Longmont, Boulder area,
Okay,
and I worked basically from Denver up to Fort Collins. That's crazy. You're from
Yeah,
Colorado.
I grew up
man.
in Aurora, went to Rangeview High School.
Okay.
Go Raiders. And then I went to University of Colorado Boulder for my higher education.
Very cool.
And I used to actually drive. It's interesting. I used to drive the first startup I worked for right out of college. I was still finishing one class in summers. And I would go from Boulder through Longmont, through what's that? The Butterball Chicken Factory there that just smells horrendous when
I
you
believe
drive past
so.
it.
There's many factories.
Yeah, to go up there to Loveland. I was working in a startup up there at that time. And then 12 years ago, I was sitting in a basement with my buddies like this, and one of them was going off to flight school. And I really was like, man, I was valedictorian in high school. I graduated my degree. I came out at 2007, 2008. Rough time to be a fresh college graduate. Economy.
Yeah.
I said, I got to change something. So we started throwing darts at a map. We had a map on the wall. And we started throwing darts, and where's Chris going to end up? And there was a bunch hitting New York and the East Coast, and then a bunch on the West Coast in California. I said, you know what, guys, I'm just going to do it. I sold all my worldly possessions. It wasn't a lot. I was 25, 26 years old.
Right.
And I bought a one-way ticket and packed one suitcase, and I left. No plan or anything. And that's how I serendipitously ran into my business partners that helped. We built this Bitcoin IRA together. I actually lived in a motel room smaller than this room that we're in now for 9 months while we built the first company together for IRAs.
Dude, that's what my dad literally threw a dart as well.
Yeah.
And he
It's
ended up in
liberating,
Colorado.
man. It's a great feeling when you just let go.
Wow. I mean, that is a crazy story. In 1971, it was like a 5-minute speech that changed literally the backing of all money.
Barely made the news because I think he was in the middle of battling the Watergate at the same time. And it was because we were getting to the point where we didn't have enough gold to back the dollars that we'd put out there. And so then we roll over into the OPEC dollar, which helped keep the dollar strong because the rule with OPEC was if you want to buy gold oil in this world, you had to convert into a US dollar.
Right.
That game's changing now too. You got BRICS nations and these things that are happening. And then you toss this beautiful instrument that Satoshi gave us of Bitcoin in the mix of all of this. And it's the next evolution of where we're headed as an economy. And I'm thrilled to be a part of it.
Well, and that's it has such a long-term use case, and so much has happened over the past 50 years to get us to this point. And now I feel like the lockdowns really kind of quickened that process. They gave me essentially a year to just lock in. I put my whole life savings into Bitcoin when March hit.
When COVID hit.
Yeah. And it was incredible to have like $4,000 Bitcoin, right? Yeah. But then like I see the continuation of inflation going up. I've moved it to now I live in Georgia, thankfully. My goal was to get to Georgia, start talking about crypto professionally, and essentially have enough chickens on my property to be insurance should anything really, really get out of hand. Self-sufficiency.
Yep.
Right.
That's my next goal too.
Is it?
Yeah. Boise or Montana.
Okay. I got a lot of family in Montana. It gets cold up there.
It does. Well, yeah, that's why I'm thinking like maybe winters in Arizona.
Okay.
You know, give yourself a little bit of room. But
I
yeah,
like
my
that.
wife wants one of those baby cows, you know, the little hairy cows and the chickens and those. And yeah,
has she started doing sourdough yet?
No, I hear that's the next evolution.
When you hear the sourdough conversation,
when she's building her yeast,
just buy the coop.
Get ready.
Just get it all together.
And that's where we're shifting back to. You know, it's especially with what's in the food today and the chance for us to be healthy. I have an 11-year-old daughter, and you know, you think about their longevity and their health.
Absolutely.
That's one of the reasons why we're taking the transition out of California now, moving forward into Arizona, because after the wildfires this past January, the air toxicity is just tragically terrible for the sensitive skin or sensitive breathing.
It is. You know, and like toxic food, like I just planted the rest of my garden with my mom and my kids. Like I have 4 gardens. I got the main one done last night.
You're a legit farmer, man.
Oh, I'm not like a legit farm, but they're like micro, like say they're like the size of this room, you know, and like each one of them produces a different type of food, but I take food very, very seriously because it keeps my family away from chronic illness, I felt, and it's kept me away from chronic illness for a long time. And you know, some things that you've said, I was just going to, if anyone wants to follow Bitcoin IRA, they're on Twitter at Bitcoin_IRA. I do want to watch this clip of you talking about what people are doing right now, because there is something going on right now. It's this U.S. credit card debt hitting a $1.2 trillion crescendo in the fourth quarter, rising 7% over the last year. A lot of people are existing and surviving off of these credit cards. Let's just watch this clip. I mean, I really like this clip that you had put together. This again at Bitcoin_IRA. But you talk about the shit that matters here. So let's check this out.
Scarce, but it's also transportable. It's fungible. It's being accepted as currency in a lot of places. There are people in the U.S., not just me, but people in the U.S. that live off of, what they do is they charge their credit cards and then they pay off their credit cards with their Bitcoin. So they live completely as a Bitcoin reserve. If they have $100,000 in savings, it's all Bitcoin. And these people are starting to do this real estate too, where they're putting the collateral behind the loan of Bitcoin. It's scarce.
See, this is such an interesting thing to think about, because people need to, the average person I'm kind of terrified for right now. When we see like the average person doesn't have more than $1,000 to deal with a unexpected bill, right? And the savings power of the fiat dollar is literally just going down the tubes. My parents, I mean, like, you know, I want being very specific with some of the family members that I have, they're very well off. And then they realize over the years, like I go to the grocery store, I'm well off still, but this is now costing me, instead of, you know, say $300, it's $600 now. And they just see that. And then the property tax continues to increase. And they're trying to find ways to house the money that they have without it just being ripped apart into shreds
on
by
a daily basis.
absolutely.
It's tragic. It really is. What's it? Because we were always, I mean, I'm an 85 baby. So it was, you know,
Mhm.
work hard, you put some savings aside. Back when I was a kid, it was, man, if I could just make $100,000 a year,
Right.
that's wealthy. Right. And
Right.
today, to try to live as a single family with kids to feed at under $100,000, it's,
I got 4 of them.
yeah, it's a stretch.
I got
man.
twin baby girls.
Twin baby girls.
And then I
Congratulations.
got a son who just turned 7 today,
Awesome.
and then a
Happy
8-year-old
birthday
daughter.
to him.
I
He's
know.
Aries. I just turned 40 last Friday.
Oh,
a week
really?
ago. Yeah.
Okay. Well, and teaching them about crypto matters a lot to me. Someone that I have in the wings, actually, I want to bring him up here real quick because he's been waiting in the background for just a little bit. He's with the BillyGoatTales.io team. Let's bring him up here if we got him. Do we got him in the background there, Mr. Isaac? All right, let's see here. I'm going to unmute this so I can hear him, and we'll get to going. Mr. Redman, thank you very
Mr.
much for joining
Truth.
us.
Good afternoon, sir.
Man, it's a good day. It's a Friday. Honestly, I'm excited for the pullback. Things are pulling back. Give me a little bit of an entry point. But you and the Billy Goat Tales have been up to some pretty incredible things. Not only have you built a community of like-minded people that essentially literally just want to help each other, but this you've done something pretty special. Isaac, is it possible to show my screen while we got him up here?
Indeed.
We got a book coming out. The Billy Goat Tales, Tricky Wolf, and the Wise Boy. If you can, you're the author behind this, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this
What
is my
is-
book.
Where's the inspiration? I mean, because this is such an interesting angle to take, right? Teaching children about Bitcoin and really building that long-term out. Like, how did you come up with this idea?
So my dad, when my brother and I were young, would tell us bedtime stories, and that was like the favorite part of my night because Pops was pretty. He was a funny guy, you know, and he knew how to intricately weave these lessons into these stories he would tell us every night. Like his character was Jojo Monkey, right? So he would come up and he would say, if he wanted to teach us about having good manners, he would tell us, you know, Jojo Monkey helped the old lady across the street, and the old lady gave Jojo Monkey a banana, you know, and so he got the reward for doing the right thing. And so that was my motivation for this book, is just reaching back and remember those times with my dad. And I want to teach kids about Bitcoin. And the best way to do that is use the parents, right? So if we can get to the parents, they can start telling the stories, the kids can start to learn, and then they'll be light years ahead of us later on down the road.
Crazy approach. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Like my daughter and my son, just as an example, my son wanted to, he bought like a Mr. Beast toy. I started Mr. Beast again, supporting Mr. Beast again once he pulled some people off his crew. So now he can watch Mr. Beast. But, you know, he wanted this toy. He had $5, but he also had some Bitcoin. You know, he has a little Bitcoin. So he's like, Dad, how much Bitcoin do I have? Right. And I'm like, oh, you have this amount of Bitcoin. He's like, oh, I want to save it so I can get a go-kart. Right. Because he understands if he saves it for 5-10 years, he'll be that much closer to a go-kart. Do you have the same kind of dynamic with the young kids that you're around? Like, do they understand the compounding gains and then the loss that might happen in fiat? Like, how do you handle that? Because it's an interesting approach.
I mean, so we had to make it fun, right? It's easy to read. It's fun for the kids, but it plants that seed, right? And then later on, Drew, what you're talking about is a little beyond the age group that we're trying to reach. I don't know if they would 100% understand that, but they will understand doing your own research and coming up with ways to fight against fraud. And the fraud part is the wolf in the story, right? The wolf who creates a fake coin. It's funny because you guys were talking about that earlier, like baby daddy coin, you know. And I immediately thought, oh, okay, there's the wolf. Like he's just trying to get rich on people and rug people. But Jack didn't fall for that, right? In the story, Jack doesn't fall for it because he knows better, right? He knows better because he's been doing his research. So he didn't fall into that crypto casino trap like some people in the village did.
Right.
and was able to retain his wealth. And that's the biggest thing with Bitcoin. It's the most decentralized, secured network in the world. And the only way people, if you think about it, the only way people really lose money in Bitcoin is their own decisions, right? They click on a link, their wallets get drained. It's their fault, not the tech. The tech is there. The tech is secure. It's people making bad decisions because, and it happened to me. I've clicked on a link, got one of my wallet drains, but that's because I didn't know any better and I was trying to get a free airdrop, right? So that's like
Absolutely.
the normal scam with everybody. But yeah, so I'm trying to get kids to think about the stuff ahead of time. So when they do reach that investment age, whatever that investment age is, they'll be able to make the right decisions and won't fall for that same trap.
Dude, love it. That's the foundation. And it's like, I don't trust basically anything anyways. So like, knock on wood, cold storage. I got to give him a shout out. Arculus is like, this is the easiest cold storage wallet on the planet to use. So I'm super glad that they support our channel and have for, I think it's been a year now or something like that. But like cold storage is king. And then that safety approach, because it happens to everyone. They get into Bitcoin, they feeling extra greedy. They see the screenshots and the snapshots from the vape cabal of turning $5 into $100,000 overnight. They wake up in their dirty sweatpants. I'm a 10 trillionaire now because of Fartcoin or whatever it might be. People start chasing that dragon. So it's a very important approach to get rich slowly, protect your value. And really, I look at Bitcoin as protecting my value, right? Protect that value slowly and, take profits quickly, right? On anything that you're messing around with in the altcoin sector, whatever it may be, take those profits quickly. Back into Bitcoin, homes, real estate is good. I like guns, obviously, on this channel. I'm not shy about that. And then vehicles, you know what I mean? Just tangibles. But, man, I love the approach that you have on this. And you guys do spaces every Tuesday. Is it Tuesday, right?
Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then we do a live show every Sunday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I got to bring my daughter to that.
You should.
I would definitely. I was gonna share with you, Red. My daughter's teachers are now. I'm now the Bitcoin guy they have to hear from. And she's 11 now, but when she was in pre-K, the teacher was really into Bitcoin, and she goes, "Could you come teach the kids?" I'm like, "You pre-kindergartners?" I'm terrified. So this is what I did. I brought costumes, and you know how every preschool has that little like store, the Fisher Price store that's in all of them. So that's Izzy's store, and she was the grocery store owner. And then I dressed a kid up as a caveman, a kid in a Roman soldier outfit, a kid dressed normally like we do today, and then one in an astronaut uniform. And I gave the caveman comes in and he's got a rubber chicken and he's trading for rocks, barter trade. And then the Roman soldier, I gave some gold, silver coins that I have, and he went and did the same transaction. And then the kid that was dressed like us, I gave him a $20 bill, which, by the way, he never gave me the $20 bill back. And he went in it, and then he
probably bought Bitcoin with it.
I'm hoping he did. And then the astronaut went with my phone and did a Bitcoin transaction with this. And watching at that level, they can get it. It clicks for them. Money is changing. Money, if I was a caveman, was different than what it's going to be for my life. And so now she gets like her math homework, and this was like a year ago, and it had like pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters. And I wrote this whole manifesto on the bottom of it. I was like, you guys are missing a very important coin here.
Oh my God.
So I'm known as the Bitcoin dad in my daughter's school. That's my thing.
Love that. Absolutely love that. And then this is kind of what it's all about. Like, I'm in crypto to make my legacy stronger, right? And make my kids' starting point stronger in life. And, the informational approach, like I've known what I've been doing with my children, which is working out great. But your approach, Red Man, I think I overlooked, you know what I mean? When I was at Thanksgiving, I didn't pull my nephews aside and be like, listen, you little twerp, you're losing money every year when you're leaving it in fiat. You took the better approach,
Thank you, sir. Yeah,
really
I think
appreciate
we're seeing this right now, right? We're seeing a runaway from fiat, and we're seeing Bitcoin adoption by the institutions. There's a little thing from CoinGecko this morning talking about how many more institutions are buying Bitcoin. It's on their sheets. So we're just seeing companies run away from fiat and get into Bitcoin, and it's a better store of value than fiat is. So
Right.
I just think that this book it has Bitcoin in there for a reason, because I believe in Bitcoin. I believe in the ecosystem. I believe in where it's going. It's revolutionary, and the kids are where to start, right? I don't have any kids myself. My brother has 3 kids. I love them to death. I live vicariously through, my brother, and I treat his kids like they're my own, and I want them to have the best future possible. So if I can get them started super early into Bitcoin, man, by the time they're my age, they're going to be loving life. So,
Man, that's where it's at. Well, Redman, what is your ticker on X? I want to make sure people can follow you here. Let me look.
it's on to the next 0x.
On to the next 0x.
Yeah.
You dropped it in
I
chat?
dropped it in chat. It's also pinned from Alexander
Thanks.
G.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Isaac.
I'll drop it again.
I'll show it on the screen here. Oh, you're also into Caspa. You're a proof of work guy.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes.
Redman, thank you very much for honestly not only coming on the show, but literally and very truly what you're doing right now. Needs to happen. This is the culture war of fiat versus Bitcoin that you're fighting on the ground level. The kids are they deserve to know what fiat is doing just as much as the average person walking around. At 1 year, they're paying $3 for eggs a dozen. All of a sudden, slapped in the face. $15, Susie. That meant it's kind of crazy. I want to get to the point. I'm running out of eggs. Too many people want eggs. And I don't know.
Drew, just real quick. My parents live in Montana. They live in Victor. They have a ranch there. They have 20 cows. They have 15 chickens and 2 horses. And they love Montana. We went there last year. It's beautiful up there, man. I love Montana.
I got family in Bainville and then a bunch in Fargo. But 20 cows. That's a serious. You got to have some land for that.
Yeah. Yeah. They have 15 acres. Yeah.
Jeez. Love it, man. Well, Redman, it was an absolute pleasure having you on the show. I'm going to dive into all these updates, see what the trades are looking like. Things are getting a little bit crazy out there. But everyone that's out there, make sure to follow Redman and pick up the book. Get the book for your kids. We're reading the book. We're reading books to our kids anyways at night. So go follow him. Go pick up the book. You got the link right here. Also, when you get to Amazon, have it available on Amazon. You can just search Billy Goat Tales, A Tricky Wolf, and The Wise Way. But appreciate you very much for coming on the show, brother.
Givers gain. And Drew, thank you for having me, man. What an honor. You guys have a good day.
Brother. All right, I'll see you soon. That guy's cool. I freaking love that. So now, as I said, I was promising all this crazy news that I'm going to get into. First of all, the debt clock. Look at this. So last night it was at $248 billion in savings from the Department of Government Efficiency right now. Can't imagine why the left's angry, but just in the past few hours, look at how much it's risen by. So from 248 to 253, essentially.
Jesus.
It's another $5 billion in the span of what has it been? Six hours since I pulled that story?
A little less than that.
Yeah. Things are moving quick. Just to show you how fast Elon Musk is working in the background here. Also, Alex Rawson has been charged with a felony. He fights for kids, stops predators. I support Alex Rawson if you can. Go show your support for I Fight for Kids as well. Quality individual to have. Also, ninja swords have been banned.
No way.
In the UK.
That's lame.
Yeah, I tagged Corey. They're now banning swords, trying to ban knives. What do they ban next? So you ban guns.
They ban forks and then spoons after that.
Forks and spoons?
Forks and spoons.
What do you think, Chris? What's the next thing to go in the UK?
Well, forks, sporks are dangerous. They're definitely dangerous.
It's so crazy. So crazy. Now here's the hacker dump. 14,000 stolen Ethereum are being swapped for DAI. as TJ was saying, very interesting timing on this. Very, very interesting timing on this. I do think Ethereum still has some good upside. Really, I think that's going to happen when we see staking available on Ethereum ETFs. So, do you think that too?
Yeah, absolutely. We as a large financial institution, we did staking back in 2022 and pulled it out because of all the basically rehypothecation that was happening.
Right.
And there was this race out of staking, and a lot of people didn't even know their assets were being staked, that were being held by institutions. So we've now been able to, with our regulators and our compliance teams, bring staking back mid-May, and Ethereum is on that list among some others. I think that's where you're going to start seeing a comeback, because people generally just love yield. You can make yield on any asset. It will be a very strong time for them.
Yeah. Speaking of yield, God, Isaac, I had to do all kinds of stuff today. We didn't talk to TJ, our veteran.
Oh, yeah.
We need to do that, dude.
Well, very soon.
I'm so busy. Jesus.
Dude.
All right.
Packed.
Now, Avalanche, looking pretty juicy. March 31st, marking Avalanche's first L1 arrival on Binance. The Guns blockchain coming Gunzilla Games being announced on the Binance launch pool. So I am going to be investigating this. I saw some great success on the gaming side for Avalanche and off the grid. So me as a first-person shooter game advocate, I guess you could say, or enjoyer at time, I think that off the grid and also WagMe.
Yeah.
WagMe game looked, after talking to Scott and looking at the chart in general, I gotta get some WagMe game. There's so much crypto I need to buy right now in this dip. Holy God. Unbelievable. We want to talk to TJ about me too, but we should.
Yeah, especially with this whole new Discord thing we got going on.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good reminder on that, Deucey. Absolutely. All right, you got some notes to take there. Mental notes.
They're up there.
Keeping you busy. Now, Grayscale, this is our Discover Crypto Live account, 1 million followers. That's great. Breaking Grayscale files for an Avalanche AVAX ETF with NASDAQ. So we saw Grayscale do this. Hashdex also available to roll out that. But we're going to have ETFs for a slew of different crypto projects. It's not really that it's only going to be like 3 or 4 of them. I think we're going to have quite a few over the next few years come into play here. Crypto Stevo, give you a shout out here. Crypto Stevo 001, a fine list included from the Grayscale top 20 tokens, the highest growth potential of Q2 2025. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Link, Uniswap, Aave, Batensor Tau, Optimism, the powering agent behind the system that has captured Ethereum's lifeblood without staking on ETFs, which is Base, is powered by OP. So we got to be watching that one. Lido, HNT Helium token, which I am begrudging about because I never got my mining system like years ago.
I remember that. A lot of folks.
Dude, I felt they got me. They got me.
It was really exciting the way that it all worked. It was like shared network, right? It was kind of like you're putting a Wi-Fi on top of your house. Was the concept of it, as I remember.
And their wireless network is working great. He's got great coverage. So it seems like a system that's rolling out pretty successfully. Also Aerodrome on this list, and then Syrup. I believe this is part of the Maple ecosystem and kind of real world assets / lending realm. It's a very interesting list coming from Grayscale here. Here is Crypto Face feeling bullish about Solana.
Finally.
Feeling bullish about Solana. He's looking for his upside as he sees the money flow rolling back to the upside. Crypto Face, one of the best in the biz when it comes to trading. So that was nice to see. And then just this list of Solana 2025 upgrades. I give you another shout out, Mr. Crypto Stevo. We got ETFs, Fidelity, Fire Dancer, BlackRock, Polymarket, Double Zero, Institutional RWAs, Franklin Templeton, Double Block Space, and the Trump Solana founder. So much stuff happening on this, and also the highest APY staking protocol on Solana, Marinade Finance. May as well give him a follow right there. I know Taco loves Marinade as well. He's always in there. So, for the Solana peeps, a lot of movements, a lot of good movements for Solana happening right now, and also a lot of good movements from the whales on Chainlink. It's seen a massive jump in social dominance across crypto following the host of private meetups with key U.S. government leaders. Top 11 market cap coin jumped 25%. Now it's rescinded as a sell-off has happened. Now it's back in like the $14.50 realm. Literally, I'm not concerned about this at all. Isaac asked me, Isaac's paying me. Okay.
Yes, and Link. Well, of
You're
course.
paying me in Link. Honestly, do you need to pay me?
Yes, I do actually.
Kind of feels
I do. Don't question it. I do. Okay. I can tell you after what it's for if you don't remember, but I do have to pay you.
fine. All right. And we're also seeing growth from key stakeholder wallets and holding between 10,000 to 10 million Chainlink. God, could you imagine having 10 million Chainlink?
I wish.
Holy goodness. Wallets of this size now hold an all-time high of 438 million coins. So the whales stacking up big time. The shrimps selling off like scared little gals into the night is what it is. Link to hit $55 in 2021 without all of these things that we currently have. The CCIP cross-chain protocol, Swift partnership, which if they do go live on Swift in Q4, which is what it looks like they're slated for, if Chainlink and the CCIP captured 1% of Swift's transactional volume throughput, that move in and of itself puts Chainlink's price and market cap realm to $395 a unit. If they capture 5% of Swift payments on this test system, which they're slated to do, that brings it to $2,000 or $1,800 a unit. Just that in and of itself.
That's impressive.
With no speculation happening. It's kind of nuts. So this is why like Link is right behind Bitcoin in my surety. You know, it's like a system like it basically happens across crypto, so many integrations. It's a necessary part of crypto at this point. Thank you, David. Great show on Sin City yesterday, too. That was a fun show.
No,
I like being on Sin City. I think they're actually coming back on this show, too. We got a lot of guests coming up.
Yeah,
on
no,
this show.
Sin City comes back sometime early next month.
I finally
So,
figured
yeah,
out how
yeah.
to use my calendar, is what happened. That's what happened. Is that sad?
Hey, you know, sometimes it takes a little slow to evolve, but you know, it
I'm old
happens.
school.
I'm a big fan
man.
of Link myself too. I think I was talking earlier on Discover about it. Is that it feels a lot like the picks and shovels.
It
space.
is.
And I
Absolutely.
think, and I think that's where you can be smart, strategic, and get in and watch solid growth while there's a lot of volatility in other places.
Yeah.
And they're playing it right. They're out there shaking babies and kissing hands.
Absolutely.
To getting good with the government.
Well, in that proof of reserve act,
Yeah.
that they're working on, like imagine it being illegal not to use Chainlink in the US.
That'd
Like at a
be
point.
nuts.
Oh my God. Now this is just all happening. BlackRock being bullish on tokenization. You know, it's right in front of our face. The brave will be rewarded. The scared will run away. Aave also hooked up with them and integrated the SVR officially in a near unanimous vote to recapture liquidation MEV bots, maximum extractable value bots, starting with initial set of markets. So that was nice to see. I love Aave as well. I've loved Aave since like $90. Where is it at? God, all right. We're going shopping. 169, not bad. This is actually a pretty good entry point. Look at this. Previous shelf.
You want to
Came back down right to it. What?
Pull it up.
Oh, pull it up. There you go.
There
Look
we
at this. Previous shelf. Bam. Top end of this channel. Bounced off it right there. Probably going to bounce off it again. I like this. Okay. There's a lot of crypto I got to buy.
Yeah.
So it's
Got a long grocery list right
I
now.
know. Well, I'm going to try. So it's Aave for sure. I really like that spot on Aave. Athena, I saw was looking like a pretty good entry point too. Right there. Higher lows. Nice swoop. Athena on the World Liberty Fi menu list. Very cooked into real world asset narrative. And we talked about Paul Atkins a lot. He's not even officially in the spot of the SEC chair yet. I think that the excitement about regulatory clarity actually being here, that's when we see like the speculation on it happen when Paul Atkins is literally sitting in the seat.
Yep. Got to get him in the seat and then start watching what his agenda looks like.
Right.
How he goes about it.
Absolutely.
We've seen for too many years what Gensler did to this entire space with his giant black Sharpie marker,
right?
More or less how he operated. I think you're going to get a lot more strategic, and I think you're going to see surgical changes from that three-letter agency.
Oh, and we need to hear his tangible plan. And then we have like Congress and the Senate actually understanding that real world assets are here to stay.
Yep.
Now SWE is another one.
After that, you got to
I like to call it SWE.
SWE.
Because that's sometimes what it feels like riding a roller coaster.
It is absolutely. You know, but this has a very interesting lore behind it. It's like the team of Libra, the Facebook token, I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago, they got yelled at by Congress because they were going to mint currency outside of the Treasury or the Federal Reserve. So Congress got all mad at Mark Zuckerberg, turned white in the face, disbanded the teams. The teams went to SWE and then Aptos.
Yep.
two very technologically capable chains that have a great build out. I was in on the testnet of SWI. I'm kind of like I was in on the testnet, did all this stuff, and then I still haven't added it to my portfolio. And I still feel like it's a good protocol that's probably going to have a good amount of limelight on it when altcoins start taking over.
I was going to ask you, I see Veteran Crypto mentioning a lot about Aero. And so our 11th client, his name's Rocket Ron.
Yeah.
He's a retired NASA engineer, now works for another space company. His specialty is heat shields. So as much as you can get the computers to do a lot of things with these new shuttles and things, you need the heat shield technology. It's old school. So they bring these old school guys in from NASA to do it. And he is a huge fan of it. He bothers me almost every day. When are you going to add it? When are you going to add it to the platform?
Aerodrome?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Aerodrome is one of my biggest holdings.
Tell me a little bit more about it.
Yeah. So what? All right. So
or at least what makes you love it?
So Aerodrome has captured a vast majority of wrapped Coinbase Bitcoin.
Okay.
Coinbase is the king of user interface. I saw when Coinbase was rising through the masses after DOJ went after Binance, right? And it was kind of like a shot across the board. In my opinion,
it was a warning.
It was a warning.
Yep.
And then now I see Coinbase rising. It's almost like the United States government is choosing Coinbase as the world lead over Binance. And then, for years, it's been this conspiracy theory on this channel that somehow Coinbase is going to capture Ethereum. It happened with Base, right? And so then on Base, the vast majority of the wrapped Bitcoin and honestly, a lot of the movements of Base is happening on Aerodrome.
Happening on that.
It was an easy pick for me.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So I just hammered into it at 18 cents. And then I bought it twice more at 50 cents. It's at 50 cents again. And I feel like buying more. You know what I mean?
Add it to the grocery list.
I do. It's on the grocery list. So we got SWI, Aerodrome, incredible buy point, honestly, at Aerodrome. And then
check Morpho.
Who's Morpho down?
Morpho's down like what?
Let's see
12, 13% right now.
Morpho's an easy win as well. $1.37. I mean, it's still very up from the buys. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like the buy points have been like right here at $1.20. Morpho, God, we have just insane opportunity right now. It's so funny to see people running away too. You know what I mean? Like
a lot of new entrants came in. I noticed this on my platform. A lot of new entrants came in from November, December, January. And if they were coming in on the later part of that 3-month cycle, I think newbies kind of get the calculation faster than us hardcore veterans because we understand the play. A lot of them are coming in that it still is that get rich quick mentality.
Right.
And then when it doesn't happen, they kind of scatter. What you see.
Right. It is what it is, but if it was easy,
everybody would do it.
Everyone would do it. And then the upside, the massive upside is doing crazy things
when everybody's scared.
Exactly. Yep. So now for everyone that is interested in what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be utilizing this Bitcoin IRA. You make sure to go to their website, bitcoinira.com. It really rolls it out pretty simply for you. But can you talk about the process? Like, what's the first step?
Yeah.
If I've got this Bitcoin, my cold wallet on my Arculus, because you're an awesome person that keeps it on cold storage. You talk to the team. What's the process look like for actually getting this IRA started?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, this is a tool that's just like any other retirement savings plan out there. We didn't create something out of thin air. It's a tool that the government has given us for many years. All the types of accounts are available: traditional IRAs, Roth IRAs, SEP IRAs for small business owners, simples for smaller business companies. All are available, and you open up. You see they're on there. You can open an account. I highly recommend. Retirement's not a one-size-fits-all strategy, and so we dedicate. Our mission is to help Americans retire. Well, how do you do that? You got to talk to Americans. So you see that number up there in the top right. That is not a error. That is not a bad coding. That is an actual phone number: 877-936-7175.
Here, I'll zoom in and move it over.
And there are real people to talk real crypto with folks.
Okay.
So, and they can dive into. There are 3 key ways you can fund an account. You can contribute, which is you're allowed to do up to a certain amount based on your age every year.
Gotcha.
There's a deadline coming for this past tax year. So for last year's tax season, you have up until April 15th to contribute. If you're under 50, it's $7,000. If you're over 50, it's $7,500 that you can contribute
per year.
Per year. Yep, exactly. But you have until the 15th to do it for last year. After that, the tool's gone. You can't go back and say, "Hey, IRS, I'm sorry, I meant to do it." Like the day is done. That's the policy. The other ways you can do it, and really popular for folks, is they leave their old 401k behind at an old job. There's
Yes.
trillions of dollars tied into old 401ks that people don't work there anymore. Silly for several reasons. One, why would you leave your retirement savings behind at your old job? That just never made sense to me. I'm moving on. I've got a fresh job, fresh start on life. I'm doing something new. I need to take that with me. Second is 401ks and many of the 403bs, 457s, all those retirement sponsored plans, employee sponsored plans, they are generally accumulation programs. So their goal is that you add as many dollars in and you'll get corporate match from your employer. That's their structure and design.
Right.
But they're not really good investment vehicles because they give you these generic A, B funds that you miss out on the cutting edge stuff, the crypto stuff we're talking about. And in today's world, you can't just settle for 60-40 bond stocks. That was our grandfather's game, our dad's game.
Yeah.
Our game has to be alternatives, and a big piece of that is crypto and the availability for it. So a lot of folks, if you left a 401k behind, recently left a job or left a job a few years ago, our team can help you find that and roll it over into an IRA. Non-taxable event, you won't have to pay any taxes on it. You're just moving it from one type to another.
Okay.
And then if you already have started your investments, your retirement savings, you might have a Roth or a traditional IRA at a JP Morgan, a TD Ameritrade, a Fidelity. We will help you move funds from there over. You can do partials, fulls, whatever your flavor. And again, no tax implication. Everything stays in the same. Now, why is this helpful to your listener? Why is Chris out here in Kennesaw to come talk to everybody?
Right.
Because this is the tool that if you are, and I think most of your audience is a big believers in crypto and the growth for them. We go through short-term aberrations, near-term volatility, but we're really thinking long, big picture. If you're to put $5,000 or that $7,000 into an IRA setting, and you can trade all day long, we have 75 different cryptos. You can buy and sell and swap as much as you want to.
Okay.
You won't have to ante up that capital gains tax. You're now in this tax sheltered umbrella. So you can buy, sell all day long inside that account, and you won't have any tax implications to it. Huge savings when you think about what those tax bills can look like after a long year of successful trading.
Well, especially for my crowd and me personally, because we play the altcoin game and then we just stack back into Bitcoin.
Yep.
And if it's housed within that IRA structure,
no taxes. And then the really popular one came out in the 1970s called the Roth IRA. It's actually named after Edward J. Roth. He was the senator from Delaware that proposed the legislation. And that gives you a really cool advantage where you put the money in post-tax. So you've already paid the tax on the money. You put it in and you can grow all day and all that without taxes during the process. But then when you reach the age of 59 and a half or 70 and you start taking it out, you have zero taxes, tax-free distributions. So your 5,000 can grow to 5 million and you can take it out without any tax implication. These are the tools that honestly, even though they were 100 years ago, they were built, they were made for us. They were made for crypto guys like us.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. And we got a question here. Where's that question? I saw a question and shout out, this is the Bitcoin way just found one of these 401ks you're talking about. He's found 22 grand in an employer that's just sitting there, you know, and it happened to me. It happened to me I think it was like 6 months ago or something. Remember that, Isaac?
Yeah.
I found that pile of money that I completely forgot about from the past employer. I was like, what is this?
It's crazy. So a lot of people don't realize it. There's actually other tools out there. I know the guys that founded Beagle.
Yeah.
If you Google Beagle, you can put your credentials in, your SSN and things, and they'll go find it for you. It's like a little dog on the hunt. We'll go find your missing funds for you. And I see there was a question above that. I got a question for Chris. If you file jointly and make over the 236,000, yes. So if you file jointly, can you still contribute? You can still contribute to a traditional IRA.
Okay.
There's it's called an adjusted. It's your MAGI score. It's your adjusted growth income. As an individual, it's 140 something, and if it's your jointly, it's around what he was mentioning, the 236 level.
Yeah.
If you have that, you can't contribute to a Roth directly. However, very popular tool a lot of folks in that situation use is they will contribute to their traditional IRA, and then they will do, when the time is right, they'll convert that IRA to a Roth.
Gotcha.
Now, what you do is when you convert that, you will pay the taxes now, but you'll now be in a tax-free setting for distribution along the way. A lot of folks call it the backdoor Roth is what it's known as.
Okay.
Yeah, very common. We get a lot of folks that do it during these down times. So when Bitcoin pulls back from 108,
because then you're taxed less on that movement.
Because your value is down. So it's all about timing.
Right. It's a beautiful time to do it. Yep. My God. This is such a good show. So much information.
I try. I come with value.
Well, this is like a literal conversation I'm having because I'm planning to do this. You know what I mean? And my wife's been on me to get this done for quite some time.
Go look for those old 401ks too, because you can contribute for the year, contribute for next year, find your old 401ks, get a nice little stack in. And now when that grocery list that you've got is coming up, it's like, hey man, how confident am I with this trade? You know what? I'm doing this one in my IRA.
Yeah.
Because that's tax-free for me.
Right.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely love it, man. Well, everyone out there, I hope you're taking advantage of this because we just got some alpha and a great tool to utilize while the market's down. A little bit of shifting to be done here and align ourselves for literal generational wealth in a Roth IRA. Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
There's some
100%.
great questions coming through. They offer top altcoins too. Yeah, we have 75 altcoins, Ethereum, XRP, Sui. We just recently had. That's
You
why I
just
call it
had
Sui.
Sui.
Sui's on there. Most of that list that we were just looking at from
Grayscale.
yeah, the Grayscale list. I think almost everyone except for Arrow's on, and we're working on Arrow. It's just I have to go through these processes. It's all about keeping everything in behind what I call the Pentagon of custody. You know how the Pentagon is built with the rings,
Right.
layers of security to keep you from protected from yourself. Because that's at the end of the day why Oculus is so good. You have to protect yourself from yourself.
Right.
That's the biggest thing.
Absolutely.
You are your greatest weak chain in the link, and we've designed it so that even if you mess up, we're keeping you in a completely cold storage, super deep freeze environment. Whether you're settling trades, accessing them, you go through AI identity verification, actually sit down on a video conference call if you ever want your crypto to ever leave the ecosystem.
And I love the in-person of it because I'm a very,
Yep.
you know, I
Real
can't
crypto,
stand
real
chat
people.
bots and
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
like
no.
that.
I mean,
so-
I use it so one of the things we do is we call all of our clients on their birthday and their
Uh-huh.
account anniversary. And I just launched, I used to have my guys do it, but that's now we have 50,000 account holders, 200,000 users. That it's hard to call everybody on their birthday and their anniversary. So we built a program, an AI calling program where Tiffany, Rachel, or Priscilla or Patricia call you to wish you a happy belated birthday, remind you of the tax deadline, make sure you know about referral programs, and like right now our $1,000 up to $1,000 in rewards for contributions. And then if you want to talk to a human, you just say, hey, can I talk to a human? We even identify this is Patricia, the AI concierge. But you got to use these tools in order to help more Americans retire.
Right. Absolutely. And someone's got to go. Do you have CASPA available within that?
Yeah.
CASPA?
Remember, but if you go to the website and you go to coins,
go.
I think you should be able to see if it's
Let's
up
go
there.
here. Let's go see which coins.
It's hard.
So
I'm getting old. I just turned 40, man. I can't remember 75 coins.
Let's see here. So all assets. Got Cardano, Doge, Chainlink. That's going to be great for me. Stellar. Got the Trump coin in there. Let's see here. Kronos, Ondo. This is great. Like Chainlink, Ondo. Aerodrome is my third biggest though. You know,
I'll work on it then. I mean, Rocket Ron's really looking for it.
Let's see. We got Pepe. That's Pepe in there. Say, you know, and I had a lot of Say news today. I'm going to go over that tomorrow and Render. I got a lot of Render news. Let's see here. Might not be in here. We're keeping going. We're going through the whole list here for everyone to see. Dog with hat, even. Holy cow.
Jeez.
Dog with hat. You know what? Buying a little dog with hat while it's down like this, swooping it in there that way, tax free.
Nice little gain. Yeah, nice little opportunity.
You know,
I think Caspa was on our next list. We're always we didn't have 75 coins when we started. We started with Bitcoin. It was the only one in the game. We've been doing this since 2016, so we're OGs. And then we added Ethereum and XRP and supported Bitcoin Cash during the contentious fork in 2017.
Right.
And then since then, but I think maybe Caspa just for that user. Keep an eye out. I know I have a list with my compliance department right now trying to get some more coins. I try to add at least a couple of coins every quarter. That's my goal, every quarter of every year. So 4 times a year, I try to add more. And I know Caspa's on it.
Okay. Good stuff, man. Well, I absolutely love learning.
I like to say, because I like to give them cool names like Sui and Caspa.
No. I mean, I don't have any special name for it. I mean, we've been like mining it for a long time. Discover like very, very, very far before the price movement. So
that's wonderful.
It's a good proof of work project. You know what I mean? I think that one's got some good staying power, but absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
It. Very, very cool. If you're out there watching, you want to get more involved, go check out their website. It's bitcoinira.com on the interwebs here. And you can also make sure to follow them on their X/Twitter at Bitcoin_IRA.
I'm at Senator Klein if you want to follow me. I'm not very active on Twitter, but I did at Senator Klein. I started it in 2009 when I was in college. I'm also, you can find me. My biggest following is on LinkedIn. I've got about 15,000 followers up there. So I post a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I gotta follow you. What am I doing here? Unbelievable. There you go. You got to follow for me. Be the change. Very, very nice. Well, Absolute pleasure. I'm gonna get ready for everything else going on today. It's a fast moving day. It's the boy's birthday. I'm excited
Happy
for the
birthday
weekend.
to your little boy, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks,
Enjoy
man.
it.
Hey, everyone out there, I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll come back to you on Monday with more Crypto Alpha. And if anything crazy happens over the weekend, I will go live for an emergency stream. And also, we got to talk to TJ about Veteran and Deucey Does.
Indeed, we do.
Right? So appreciate everyone out there, the community. You guys what lift this channel up so far from where we started. We started at 0 basically 2 years ago. We're at 76,000 subs. We have some of the biggest shorts on the internet. So it's all thanks to you guys letting us have this show and supporting the show. So
Thanks for having me in the basement, man.
absolutely,
This is
man.
great. I can't wait to come back.
Absolutely, man. Well, everyone out there, take care of your family this weekend. Eat some good food. Enjoy the sun. And I'll see you as soon as possible. Take care.